Hi everyone, it's me Gaming Do, and today, I'm sorry it's a little bit late. It's a combination of a lot of things, but yeah, at long last, we are here for part 18 of 20 questions. There will only be 2 more parts left after this. In August, it's going to be the final episode of 20 questions, as I really am it's getting kind of hard to come up with questions now. I've answered a lot of them. Lots and lots of them, but that's not the point. The point is, we're here today to answer these questions. Another reason why I haven't done a lot of YouTube videos in general is more of a personal reason. I'm going through a little bit of a tough time right now with something that happened to me personally. But I'm getting through it mainly by doing stuff that I like, which includes doing YouTube videos. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into 20 questions, part 18. Number 1, have you seen Obi-Wan yet? I have seen the first episode, and so far, it's pretty good. It's not the best Disney Plus show I've seen. That would probably go to WandaVision. That being said, I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know if I should really go by saying anything. But so far, it's good. It's definitely good. My favorite part is honestly the cliffhanger, where Princess Leia gets stolen, and they try to get Obi-Wan to go and save her. At first he says no, but then he ultimately goes up to the task and rescues her. I hope. I don't know. But I'm really suspecting that Darth Vader is going to be in the second episode, and I can't wait to see that. That's going to be awesome. I'm getting good impressions by this series so far. I think it's really good. It's not 10 out of 10. It's probably like a 7.5 out of 10, because it does seem to be a slight bit underwhelming. But you know what? That's okay, because honestly, this isn't a huge Star Wars movie or anything. But that being said, I wish we got maybe a little bit more in the first episode. But, like I said, it's only the first episode, so I'm okay with it being a little bit underwhelming. But so far, I like Obi-Wan, and I've only seen the first episode. Number 2, how would you rank GD Plush? Like this is going to go a little bit like a lightning round, because this is a 20 questions video and not a full-on ranking. So I'm going to be ranking both GD Plush and the Woody seasons. So number 8 is going to be Woody Season 2. Just very underwhelming. Not a lot to like about it. The truck race episode was alright, but it's so underwhelming that I can't even remember any of the episode names. Number 7 is going to be GD Plush Season 4. Same as the last season I talked about. Very underwhelming, but at least it had a few good episodes like Mario's Halloween. Number 6 is going to be GD Plush Season 6. Season 6 got the exact opposite effect, with being very overwhelming and overall just very hard to sit through because of how long it is, and it's just overwhelming, especially in the second half. Number 5 is going to be GD Plush Season 5. Season 5, in my opinion, is a big improvement over Season 4 for actually having a decent amount of really good episodes. And this is the first season on this list that's overall a season that I like, but it also did kind of get the bit of GD Plush fatigue towards the end of the season, and it does affect it a fair bit. Number 4 is Woody's Wacky Wyoming Adventure Season 1. A really good spin-off with a lot of really good episodes, but doesn't quite live up to the first 3 seasons. Number 3 is going to be Season 2. I really like Season 2, but it just really has to do with me preferring the episodes of Seasons 3 and 1 better. Number 2 is going to be Season 3. Season 3 as a season as a whole being made, I think is the best season. But at the same time, I also think that, well, I don't quite personally connect to it as much as number one. Which number one is season one. Season one got me through a fair bit of tough times with starting out high school, which was kind of hard for me, and it really helped me through. And also, I was at a really good point in my life by the end of the season, so I really like season one. So overall, that's my ranking of the GD Plus Universe seasons, and this honestly took 8 or 9 tries to get this scene, because I was fucking up a lot. Mainly due to what just happened to me. I can't really think straight. I'll get into it soon, maybe even the next video, but some shit has been happening. I don't know if I... Oh, boy. I'll tell you later, but some stuff really bad has been happening to me lately. But I'll get into it later. Number 3. Why was Multiverse of Madness so disappointing? It just mainly has to do with the main reason being underwhelming. I know I said it with the GD Plus seasons, but Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was hyped up to be this really big multiversal adventure, and all it was them going to 2 or 3 variants of New York City. That's literally freaking it. And the Illuminati is cool, especially Mr. Fantastic, but outside of that, it's really disappointing because it's really underwhelming. Not a lot happens in the film for what they hyped up. Now, I know Marvel themselves didn't really hype it up, but this should have been a bigger film than it actually was. I'm not saying this needed to be the next Avengers Endgame. The next Avengers Endgame is going to be the next Avengers film. Maybe even not the next direct Avengers film, but it's probably going to be an Avengers film that's going to be the next Endgame. But I was thinking this was at least going to be on par with the first Avengers film. Really big hype, but it turned out to be very disappointing. And I can't freaking believe that. It's not a bad movie, but with how much was hyped versus what we actually got, it was a very disappointing movie, and honestly, it's not a movie I plan on watching again anytime soon. You'll see where I place this on the Marvel ranking, which is finally coming up soon. I had to delay it because of some personal stuff that's been happening, which I'll reveal that soon too, but yeah, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a very disappointing film for me. Number 4, are you getting the new Did I just say Disney Plus? Duh. Are you getting the new PlayStation Plus? I already got it. And it's great. The new PS Plus Premium is great. You get like over 700 games for $18 a month. That sounds pretty freaking good to me. I already got like 6 or 7 games downloaded, including the Jak and Daxter trilogy. I got Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. I got Red Dead Redemption 2 re-downloaded. And I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is really good so far. So I have been downloading a lot of games with this service, and honestly, I think it's even better than Xbox Game Pass, just in my personal opinion. You know, Xbox Game Pass is great because you can play it on your PC, but the variety of games right now isn't especially great, in my opinion, while PlayStation, they've really outdone themselves. This is really good. I like it. And especially since I'm a big PlayStation fan, I will keep coming back to this service. It's great. Number 5. What's your favorite dog breed? It's got to be a Corgi. I mean, come on. They're little loaves of bread with pointy ears, a really cheery personality, And they're the dogs of the freaking queen. They're just so cute and fluffy and loyal and just... They're all around amazing dogs and my favorite dogs. I got two of them. Their names are Willow and Luna. And I would do anything for those freaking dogs. They're amazing. They're just so freaking cute. I mean, you go and look at my direct last video, which is your daily dose of Luna, and that's how cute corgis are. So your answer is going to be corgis. I love corgis. Number 6. When is Would You Rather coming back? Would You Rather is coming back pretty soon. I would honestly say maybe within the next week or so. I'm not sure about that, but it all depends on how busy I am. I'm going to be doing a fair amount of videos within the next 2 days because it's getting the big event that happened that really has affected me. It's going to get it off my mind a little bit. So, Would You Rather should be in that slate, but it's probably going to be at least Saturday or Sunday before you see that. But I'm not 100% sure. It's definitely coming back for another part, but not anytime within the next day or two. Number 7. What artist have you been listening to recently? Honestly, a fair amount of them. Some of the big ones that I've started listening to big time have been mainly 3. One has been Black Sabbath. I've been listening to that freaking Paranoid song by them, which I didn't know who sang that song, but when I found out who sang that song and I reheard it, I was like, I haven't heard this song in years. It's freaking incredible. What a great song. So I've been listening to a lot of Black Sabbath. I've also been listening to a fair amount of Van Halen lately. You Really Got Me, which originally wasn't actually sang by them. I thought it was, but it wasn't. There was actually a version much earlier, but that's my favorite version. And Jump is also a great song. But you know who I've been listening to a lot lately? Michael Jackson. You know what? I don't care about his controversy. You know what? I don't really care about anybody's controversy. Except Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Calm down. Calm down. Take your chill pills, please. But I honestly think he's a really good singer. He's got a lot of really good songs. And my mother's a huge fan of him, and I can see why. He's a great singer. He's not my absolute favorite, but he's probably got some of the catchiest songs of all time. Which, my favorites are Rock With You, Billie Jean, and The Way You Make Me Feel. These are just my personal favorites. I've also been listening to a little bit of Nickelback lately, which I know people want to freaking burn me for saying that, but honestly, I think some of his songs are good. Not all of them, but some of them are good. So, I have been listening to a lot of various artists lately. I've been listening to my usual Metallica, which I do pretty much every day. But I've been listening to a lot of various artists. Number 8. Would you take a big risk for $1 billion? It depends on the risk. Honestly, if it was something like you go skydiving, I'll give you $1 billion, I would say it's a deal. I would go skydiving for probably $100, honestly. But if it was something like 90% chance of death, but 10% chance of living and you come out with $1 billion, I don't think I'd do it. It's just too much of a risk, and I value my life more than $1 billion. So, it depends on how big the risk is. If it's not a huge risk, I would, but if it was a big risk, that would like ruin my life, I would. So overall, if I had to give an overall answer, I would probably say no, because a big risk is something that could probably destroy your life, literally. But I don't think I'd take a big risk for $1 billion. Unless it was something like you can go skydiving or something like that. Number 9, what state are you doing next for underrated states? I already said it in my last video. I'm going to be doing the state of Michigan next. Michigan gets a lot of shit for Flint and Detroit, which are... I think Detroit has some good things about it, but overall, it's not a city I would adore going to. Unless I had family that lived there, I wouldn't adore going there. I think it would be very uncomfortable. And Flint, I literally have nothing really good to say about it, especially with the water crisis. But outside of those two, I get a really good impression of Michigan. It's beautiful on the Great Lakes and has really nice people, and it's the reason why the next underrated states video is going to be on Michigan. And one of my big things is going to be that it's not just Detroit. People got to stop getting this impression of Michigan that, oh, Detroit brings down the entire state, which in a way it kind of does, but for an overall impression, don't just get the impression of Michigan from Detroit and its metro area, which some of the cities in the metro area are really nice, like Royal Oak and Troy, but Michigan as a whole, I think, is a really good state and is honestly one of the best, if not the best states in the Midwest. Minnesota would probably have something to say about that. I really like Minnesota too, but outside of that, Michigan, Minnesota, and South Dakota are my top 3 states in the Midwest, if you were wondering. But Michigan might be my favorite just for its beauty. It's a gorgeous state. Number 10, how were your grades in school? It depends on the era, honestly. I can't remember what grades I got in elementary school at all. I think I did relatively well, though. I think I got, like, A's and B's, pretty much. Middle school is when it started to go a little bit down. Like, there would be a lot of C's in the mix. So, I wasn't a great student in terms of grades, but it's not because I fool around. It's because it was a combination of me getting distracted and me not really getting the content. Math was definitely, throughout my entirety of school, my hardest subject. Especially during high school. I actually managed to do pretty well in math senior year, but that's because we got real life math, which was definitely the easiest math class I ever got. It was even easier than middle school math. It was really easy. You just got to think about real life situations and what mathematics you would do during it. But early high school was probably the worst grades I ever got. I don't like saying this because I don't like to remind myself. I like to think of myself as a good student. But there was one class I almost failed in high school. Completely for the year. And that was art class. I'll admit, I was a little shit during that class. Am I proud of it now? Absolutely not. I really should have just behaved myself and have been a better student because I regret it. And it wasn't anything to do with the teacher. I really liked the teacher in that class. It was just the resources you could use to have fun was ridiculous. And I like finger painted my folder and everything. Okay, so I wasn't the best student in art class in high school, honestly. And if I could go back and say if I could go back to be a better student, I absolutely would. No doubt about it. I would. But you want to know what? I had a big turnaround in high school. Senior year, I got honor roll all 4 marking periods. And I did great that year. I think my lowest grade out of them all was a B minus. The entire year, my worst grade was a B minus. Now I know for a valedictorian that would be like, that's terrible. But for me, that was great. The lowest grade I got that entire year was a B minus. And I believe that was in... What was that? I don't think it was real life math. I thought it was maybe English? I don't remember, but I got a really good grade in that class, and I passed pretty easily. I think another huge thing is we didn't have final exams that year because that's the year COVID ruined everything, but I did great my senior year, and then college? College was good with English, absolutely awful with math. I failed out of that because I took the wrong math class. I didn't take the beginner's level. I didn't really go to my guidance counselor to see what classes I should have took for college, and I took the wrong class for my level. However, English, I took the right class, and I passed, I believe, with a B+. So that's pretty good. So overall, my grades in school ranged very much. It was okay, bad in some instances, especially the college math class. But with late high school, with most of my grades being good in junior year, I actually got a fair amount of good grades that year, and pretty much all of my grades being good senior year, it really does vary, and I did get some good grades. I did what I did in senior year, about what I probably did in elementary school. I did pretty well then. So my grades varied to be pretty good towards the end. Number 11, do you look forward to the rest of your 20s? I think so. 20 as a year hasn't been all that great. There's been a lot of stuff that's been happening, especially since 2022 started. But, you know what? I don't think it's going to bring me down in the dumps forever. I have optimism that my life will be as good, if not better, than it was 2 or 3 years ago again. I think it truly will. You know? Some people really do go through a lot of hard shit. And if you do, I'm sorry. I really am. I feel your pain. I may not know exactly what's going on with you and stuff like that, but if you're going through a hardship, I'm sorry. I'm going through a hardship right now. It's been really affecting me and my family the past few weeks, but especially the last week, and it only made 2022 10 times worse. But as for how I think the rest of my 20s are going to go, I'm turning 21 in 3 months, and I'm really excited for that. And as for the rest of my 20s, I'm hoping to have a good job, a good house, a good family by the time I turn 30. So I am very optimistic about my 20s. I'm hoping my age of 21 and 2023 is going to be a massive improvement over 2022. If 2023 is as good as 2021, it will be a massive improvement over 2022 at this breaking point. And 2021 wasn't great, but if I could get a year like 2021 again, I'd honestly take it. This year sucks. But I am looking forward to the rest of my 20s because I do think eventually things will get better again. Number 12, what kind of car would you like? This is kind of hard because I haven't really thought about it, but a pickup truck would actually be kind of nice, especially because I like the great outdoors and I'd love to if I ever decide to go hunting again, which I might, I can take that to get my animal or something like that. Or just generally bring a lot of stuff to go camping. Because I love camping too. I wouldn't mind a truck. Or an SUV. An SUV would be nice. But I never really thought about what kind of car I want. In terms of a sports car, I'd probably go with a Lamborghini, but for a guy, I'm not as big of a car guy as you'd probably think. I never really think about that stuff. You know, I think some cars are really cool, but my life doesn't revolve around cars like some guys do. It's not my big hobby. But I do think about what kind of car I'd like sometimes, and if I had to pick an absolute dream car, I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I don't think I can give you an answer for this one. But pickup truck would be nice. An SUV would be nice, and if I was rich and had a really big lot, I would probably get a Lamborghini. That'd be cool. So maybe a Lamborghini, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't really think about cars that often. Number 13, how do you deal with bad and negative people? Listen, some people, I've come to this cold hard reality that some people are just no good. There's people out there who have very bad intentions and stuff like that just don't want what's best for you. They can vary from being anything from very selfish to very uncaring to very mean and constantly bullying you. Here's what I've learned to do, especially the past year or so. What you do is, if you have to interact with them, you just interact with them the least amount possible. If it's somebody like, say, your coworker where you have to interact with them, don't be mean and negative towards them, because not only is it probably going to get you in trouble at your job, but it could also just... It's not the way you want to be. Just, if they say something like, try to get on your nerves, you just ignore them. Or if you have to work with them, just work with them. If you don't have to and somebody's just being a mean person and constantly trying to bring you down, cut them out. Seriously, cut them out and just move on with your life without them. That's what you do. If somebody's being a really negative person, you just cut them out completely and move on. I've had to do that as early as last year. Last August, I had to cut somebody out of my life completely, and I had a little bit of regret with it at first, but now I'm like completely over it. I don't know what else to say about that, you know? You don't need negative people in your life. If people have mostly negative traits and are constantly trying to bring you down, you don't need them. If it's somebody like your coworker where you have to deal with them, just deal with them the least amount you can possibly with getting the work done, while you're getting the work done. You don't have to stay best friends with them, but get the work done. Get the job done. That's your main goal. If it's somebody like your coworker. But if it's somebody you don't have to ever interact with, again, just don't. Cut them out of your life. That's my philosophy. I like to try to mend with people, and if people try to mend with me, I will accept it, but if there's just no saving them or something like that, or no way you're ever going to be able to be the same again, or no way they're going to ever be a good person for you as a friend or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or anybody, just tell them I don't need this anymore. So, basically, I deal with negative people by either just dealing with them the least amount possible or not dealing with them at all. Number 14. How happy are you right now? Scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably go with a 3. I'm not doing good right now. Something happened last week, like I've said probably 9 or 10 times in this video. And it's been very hard for me. I will probably tell you this soon, maybe within the next day or maybe even today sometime. But, I haven't been very happy mainly because of what happened last week. And it only made my year worse, which has already been pretty bad. So, I haven't been especially happy, but I know for a fact it'll get better. I'll be better eventually. There's always something that can pick yourself up. And I have that philosophy. This event has changed me as a person. You can't be a pessimist for the rest of your life, because if you're pessimistic about stuff, then it's just going to drive you crazy and you will never be happy. So, I'm trying to look on the bright side of things, which is why I do give myself a 3. Because I am trying to look on the bright side of things and trying to move on and stuff like that. But it is really hard. I'm heartbroken by what happened last week. It's been very hard. I almost said I'll get into it right now, but I want to dedicate a separate video to it because I want to talk to you guys personally about this event, but this only made 2022 10,000 times worse. Really, all I have to say is I'm not very happy right now, but I'm trying to look on the bright side of things because it's just for the best. Number 15, are you going to see Lightyear? Probably not in theaters, but if I can get sneaky, I might try to stream it somewhere this week. I really am curious to see it. It's not getting the best of reviews, which is a little bit shocking. I somehow thought this was going to be like Pixar's next, like, 97 to 100% on Rotten Tomatoes film, but it's only in the early 80s, which is one of Pixar's lowest films, which is surprising. I thought this was going to be the next Toy Story movie, or the next Finding Nemo, or the next Inside Out, but it turns out it's about on par with how Pixar is doing lately, if not even a little bit weaker. So, I am being a bit optimistic. I still think I'm going to really like this film. It actually looks really good, but, you know, I thought that way about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I agreed with most people by saying it was disappointing. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to watch it on my computer or even my phone sometime this week. But, yeah, I'm going to watch it sometime this week, but probably not in theaters. Number 16, any big upcoming projects? For the month of June, I have 2. One I already revealed was going to be the MCU ranking. That's coming within the next 2 days for sure. I'm going to take a shower after this video is over because I'm very overwhelmed right now, and you guys will find out why. But I'm going to be doing the MCU ranking, and my other project is finally going to be doing the ranking of South Park Season 2 episodes, which is probably coming at the very end of June. I don't think it's going to be July because I'm really getting through Season 2 now. I'm already more than halfway through it again. But that should be coming towards the very end of June, while the MCU ranking is going to be maybe even as soon as tonight. I'm not sure. It's going to be a big video, though, I promise. So my upcoming big projects are going to be the MCU ranking and the South Park Season 2 ranking. But other than that, I don't really know. It's probably going to be mostly smaller videos, like a tier list or maybe even another top 10 of some sort. I really want to do a top 10. We're probably going to get a top 10 of some sort this week. But yeah, that's pretty much my upcoming projects. Big or small, you'll see a fair amount of videos this week. Number 17, what's your favorite modern song? Did I already? Wow. I just had a freaking realization that I made a huge mistake. Let gaming do go fix that. I don't know how that happened, but I completely forgot to give a new question 17. Well, now it's fixed, so let's answer question 17. Number 17, streaming services or cable? Well, in my opinion, I would go with streaming services. You know what? Cable's cool and all, but you do get an overwhelming amount of commercials and stuff like that, which some of them are cool if it was like 10 years ago, but for most commercials nowadays are boring, and commercials on kids' channels are better than commercials on, say, something like Fox or ABC or something like that. And you definitely can get ads on streaming services, but if you decide to pay for no ads, you're ad free. And not only that, you can watch pretty much anything whenever you want on streaming services. You want to watch any episode of SpongeBob at any time, go ahead and watch it on Paramount Plus. You want to watch Batman the Animated Series, you can watch that on HBO Max. Do you want to watch something like, I don't know, you want to watch something like DuckTales, you can watch that on Disney Plus. You can watch pretty much anything, and they got a lot of cool exclusive shows on streaming services like Stranger Things or The Boys. And it's awesome, honestly. So, maybe a couple years ago I would have said cable, because honestly, it had a special place in my heart, and I had it pretty much throughout my entire childhood, but I just realized how much better streaming services are. Now, as for physical media versus streaming services, that would probably be a tie, because they both have their advantages and disadvantages. Streaming services, sometimes they can go away, while you'll have your physical copy forever, but at the same time, there's just way more options for stuff to watch, and some stuff you may not have in your collection with streaming services, so I might still give the slight edge to streaming services. Streaming services are a great invention. I think they are getting a little bit pricey now, especially with Netflix, but you know what? Streaming services are pretty cool, and I would overall pick them over cable. Number 18, do you have a dream place you'd like to live? It's really hard to think about. Places I'd like to live? You know, as long as it's not some really dangerous country or somewhere like that, I'd be okay with living pretty much anywhere. As long as I had a house and a stable job and somewhere to live and could afford food, I'd be okay with that. If it's somewhere I'd like to live, I would probably go with somewhere like the Rocky West or Atlantic coast of the US or Canada or the South, or even somewhere like Australia or New Zealand. There's a lot of places I'd like to be, but an absolute dream place I'd like to live? I don't know. Honestly, I'm perfectly fine living where I am right now. I think I'm perfectly fine with it. Sometimes I think it's not the greatest place, but ultimately I'm okay with it, and it is very good. It's a very good place to live. A lot of people shit on New Jersey, but New Jersey is a very stable state, to say the least. I don't know if I could pick an absolute favorite place I'd like to live, though. I don't know. But there's a lot of places I wouldn't mind living. Number 19. How many movies have you seen this year? I think we're on 8 at this point. I started with the Batman, then I watched Turning Red, then I watched Morbius, then Sonic the Hedgehog 2, then I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, then Chip and Dale, and no, it's 7. I've seen Jackass Forever. My next film is going to be Lightyear, so after Lightyear it will be 8, but I've seen 7 films from this year so far. Oh gosh, no I haven't. I have seen 8, because I saw that disgraceful movie, Pinocchio, A True Story. That's disgusting. Don't ever watch that film, guys. But yeah, I have seen a lot of movies from this year, and they vary from being extremely good, like movies like The Batman, to very bad, like Pinocchio and Morbius. I'm not even going to joke about that film. I know that film gets a lot of memes and stuff like that, but that film is just grossly garbage. And yeah, I've seen 8 films this year, and I don't have much more to say about that. Number 20, Willow or Luna. It's a tie. They're the cutest dogs in the world, and they both have different reasons why I like them equally. Luna is like my follower. She follows me everywhere and stuff like that, and just adores the ground I walk on. She loves me so much, and she's so freaking cute, but Willow is admittedly a lot better behaved, and in a way I find her sillier. Like, the faces she makes are just iconic. Like, it's funny, and she's a lot better behaved. So, overall, I love all my dogs equally. I think Willow and Luna are probably the cutest, but I love all my dogs equally. I think they're all great. And that's it for 20 Questions Part 8. Sorry if it's a bit jumbled. I am going through a lot right now, so please try to understand that I'm not in the best state of mind right now. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. Stay tuned next month for 20 Questions Part 19. I'm going to try to do that within the first week of July and actually get it done in the earlier half of the month next month. And that's about it, guys. I hope you guys like this video. Gaming Do here. See you later. Bye.